Hello everybody and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to my latest new album Spotlight. This is the show where I put the spotlight on a new album in prog or related genre and tell you guys about it and recommend it to you if you like the similar kind of music that I like. So I'm going to try to keep these reviews fairly short for the most part, unless it's a big major band that I just can't help but talk overly enthusiastic about, like Haken recently. But for most of the reviews, I like to get in this 5-minute range to just give you guys a quick expression of what this is about and leave you guys to your own conclusions about it. So the album today that I'm talking about is Zopp and their new album Dominion. This is the group from the UK. Really, it's the brainchild of composer and multi-instrumentalist Ryan Stevenson, and it seems like he has a drummer on board that is part of his lineup, Andrea Moneta, it looks like, on drums and cymbals. But this is really a Canterbury tinged affair. This is their second album. I believe their first album was like a self-titled album that got a lot of acclaim back in 2020. It was a really cool album that a lot of people enjoyed. And this album follows suit with that. It's a really cool Canterbury-inspired album with a bit of symphonic prog thrown into that mix. Really, the references are bands like Caravan, Hatfield in the North. Those types of bands are really the touchstones to go through here. But I'm also reminded of a band like Wobbler with a bit of that symphonic sound baked in as well. A lot of great instrumental passages and great vintage sounds of different instruments and organ sound and even throwing in some saxophone and some flute and all of this kind of stuff to make for a really great sound palette that I really enjoyed. I really like that Canterbury sound. I'm not super familiar with it, but what I hear I really like because I'm a fan of the more jazzy styles that are often peppered into my prog rock music. So that's what happens here in a great way. And this album features more vocals. I believe the self-titled debut was more instrumental all the way across, but this one, even though there's lots of instrumental passages and even instrumental tracks, some of the shorter tracks in the middle, really there's some vocals that they introduce into some of the longer pieces that are actually really well done and really add another dimension to the music. So you get a bit of an introductory track with Amor Fati, acclimating you to this Canterbury sound with some great wordless female vocals and that breezy sound that really brings you into that. And You is the first proper track. This is like a 10+ minute track, which is really one of the highlights of the record for me. It kicks off with some power, some really fuzzed out organ sounds and keyboards and driving drums and bass. Some great guitar soloing is in the mix with this great symphonic sound. We get some breezy male vocals and jazzier sounding verses, and there's some great tenor saxophone in the track. Really great classic prog sounding stuff that I really enjoy. It's just really fun to sit back and let it wash over you. Then there's a couple shorter tracks in the middle. Bushnell Keeler with more fuzzed out organ and keyboards and cool saxophone for another breezy rocker. I like the jazzy influence here, that jazzy Canterbury vibe. You get a shorter, more pastiche type track with Markskivit. Starts with some lazy organ and some light cymbal crashes and a droning bass. Really feels like almost a painting come to life, a real pastoral scene that really is a good palate cleanser before we get into a more energy-laden track with Reality Tunnels. Really more great fuzzed out organ, some driving beats and bass lines, great leads and some crunchy guitars. Gives us such a lively spirit, just makes for a joyous listen. Then we get into a little short vocal-led track with some piano, guitar, and drums, really leading into the second big epic of the album, Toxicity. It's just another high-octane opening with some great organ work, treated to some great vocals. This is where that Wobbler influence comes in, almost a Gentle Giant type flavor with a lot of instrumental interplay, some great sounds, some extended soloing, propulsive drumming, symphonic and jazzy flourishes, some great keys and sax and soaring guitar solos, all that you would want, all baked into this 14-minute epic that's really pleasant to listen to and that I really enjoyed. So that was a great fun listen, and so I recommend it. It's a short, breezy album. It's 42 minutes. It feels like really geared towards vinyl format with a bigger track on the first half and then a bigger track on the second half and some surrounding shorter tracks. So it really harkens back to that age and really has that vintage feel to it, which I think really plays in its favor. And Ryan Stevenson is a really excellent player and really embraces this cool Canterbury sound that I don't know if a lot of modern groups are really diving so heavily into that sound, and so it's really occupying a special lane that makes it unique and makes it fun to listen to. So I recommend it to all lovers of progressive rock, especially if you're into that Canterbury style and more jazzier sounds and a lot of instrumental passages with flute and saxophone and organ and keyboards and some guitar soloing. All of that is on board here, and it's a really fun, breezy, light, jazzy listen that I really recommend. So thank you guys for joining me. I hope this was a fun review for you guys, and please check out the album if you like what you heard about here. So thank you guys, and I'll hopefully catch you in another video. Bye everybody.